Good afternoon, welcome. My name is John Stanowski. I am your MC for this afternoon, if you will. Your host is the Saline River Preserve. Our purpose here today is two primarily. One is the dedication, and the other is the ribbon cutting ceremony to formally open our park to the public. Now, I do want to recognize all our distinguished guests in the audience, and I'm sure that I'm not going to see them all, but I do see the Mayor of Saline is here, Brian Morrow, and Mike Armitage. Are you here, Mike? For the City of Milan, the Mayor. Chuck Tellis, our Township Supervisor, and all other infamous or famous guests, welcome. I do want to express to you and let you know basically how this park came into being. It was the convergence, if you will, of three agencies, basically City of Saline, York Township, and the City of Milan. And it came forth with this idea that there was 17.4 acres of public land open and available, and what's going to happen to that? Well, the thought process is let's make it a natural habitat. Well, that's good. Now you got to get money to buy it. And I will tell you that Washington County Parks and Recreation Commission was a significant partner in this. They gave us some seed money, and the Friends of the Saline River, 6 of us, 7 of us, if you will, went out there and beat the bushes, came in contact with people like you, asked you to give and donate, and I'm happy to say that we paid $110,000. It did not cost the township, the cities, or anybody else any money. It was all publicly donated, and this is one of the worthwhile enterprises that we have a park here that is solely sustained by public donations. Now, in this group of dedicated officers, one is Dave Rhodes. I think many of you may have met. He's our Executive Vice President of the Friends. Thank you. Dave was very instrumental in purchasing the property and putting it on hold until the Friends could obtain the money to purchase it from him. And there's a great debt of indebtedness that we owe him. Also, Jim Peters, I don't know if he's here yet. I know he had another dedication program that he was involved in. He's our another vice president and of external affairs. Martha Stewart, if you're here.
Churchill. Martha Churchill.
Martha Churchill. Stewart. Famous women, what can I say? Martha Churchill. There's also Rod Green. He's from Milan. He's another active member. There's Taylor is back there. I know I saw him. I'm trying to think of who else did I miss? Did I miss somebody?
Frank Stutenberg.
Frank Stutenberg. My buddy Frank there in the center. He's the one that was instrumentally involved in getting me involved when I was York Township Supervisor. He showed me that this was an opportunity for us to preserve this little nature park for posterity, to give all our children and grandchildren an opportunity to see what a natural park is all about. Now I'm stressing the word natural, natural, natural. There are no sidewalks, there are no cement drives, there's no asphalt, it's terra firma, ground. So if you walk down through the trails that we've cut with this beautiful tractor here that Dave donated, it's a little rough and tumble. If you go down the pathway here, you'll see where we're in need of developmental funds to put in a decent road, maybe gravel, with some handrails for people like me to walk down safely. There's ruts on both sides. The water's eroded that, so we try to minimize that, but walk in the center if you're going down. Be careful as you walk. It is, once again, like I said, a nature trail, and it has some consequences there. If you have an opportunity, pick up a brochure and you'll see how this park is really laid out, the trails that we have, and our wonderful donors, both the platinum and the diamond donors who have given so much to get this thing going, as well as to every individual who has participated in giving, whether it was $1 or $5, 20 or 50 or whatever. We thank you for all of that. Now, let me give you a little bit of the history of this location. I think probably if you lived in Saline, you know Bicycle Charlie. Charlie Berg was the owner of this property, as I understand, and he was sort of an eccentric individual. He lived out here in the wilderness without electricity, without public facilities. He had his dogs, chickens, goats, and everything else with him here, but this was his place. This was his domain. He wanted it in a natural preserve, and that's part of what our program here is, to preserve this as much as possible. As you walk through the park, you will see we put up some birdhouses to attract different birds. You may find we've also planted some milkweed here. Dave's been helpful in just spreading that milkweed seed around so we can get some of the the monarch butterflies back into this neighborhood. If Jim Peters was here, he would tell you that on occasions when he's been in this park, he's seen some cranes in here and a white turkey and a few deer. So, you know, if you encounter any of the natural habitat, please leave them be. Thanksgiving isn't yet for a while. All right. I think it's time, unless Dave, you would like to say something before we make the formal dedication of this park as the Leslee Niethammer Saline River Preserve. And that was done primarily with the purpose of honoring a woman who has given so much to our community. Dave?
Yeah, thank you. I'm going to sit up here because this is where I'm most comfortable. Put a lot of hours in on this little old beast here, preparing things. So, as John said, you know, this would not be possible if we didn't have all the donors. And there were literally hundreds of donors, people who gave everything from $10 on up. And Leslie would be really pleased to see the turnout here. It's a great remembrance for her and the community. And we have some other people here that we probably should recognize. We have some representatives from Legacy Land Conservancy here. Okay. All right, back over there. Thank you very much. And their primary assistance, besides the fact that they donated some cash to us, was they served as a nonprofit organization until we became one. Because you can't just call yourself one and be it. You got to go through the whole process and make the IRS happy. And so they took on that responsibility for us for a while. And then, do we have anybody here from the Washtenaw County Parks and Recreation Natural Area Preservation Program? As John mentioned, they were significant assistance to us, both financially and in other support. And then we have one of our other major donors here, Iris Detter, who donated some funds, and we have, you might notice in your brochures that we have an Iris Detter trail, and we have irises planted down there, and strange coincidence that happens to be her first name. Iris, would you want to say anything?
Okay, I'll say a couple words.
Okay.
Okay, first off, okay, we have a Detter Family Foundation. My daughter Jody Kerner came to us and asked us to help support this project. So we all agreed and said yes. Then my son Jason suggested that they take $500 and plant irises along the trail. I only found out like 2 or 3 days ago when my daughter Jill Wiedmeyer sent an email with the article that was in the Saline Post that one of the trails was actually called the Irish Debtor Trail. I sent back an email and said, heck, people will think I'm dead.
Okay, unless someone else has some words of wisdom?
Let me just add,
This words of wisdom.
oh, words of wisdom, okay. These are just political words. Just to let you know what our plans are for the future, when we designed this park and the many trails, it was hoped that the city of Saline would be able to bring their parks and connect to this park, and then connect to the Wilderness Park. And with the graciousness of the city of Saline and with our team here, we've worked with DNR, who are going to give us an easement over their property, so that if you walk from Mill Pond Park to, what's that, Salt Lake?
Over to Curtis, to
Salt Lake?
Springs Park.
Salt Springs Park, there will be a trail. Once again, natural trail along the river on our side or DNR side, connecting to our park, and eventually also to Wilderness Park. I will put a little toot for us from York Township. Our Parks and Recreation people, in which Frank Stutenberg is one of the instrumental drivers there, is working on another park on in Moorville that we would like to connect with this park, so that when you get in a canoe or a kayak, you can go all the way from Saline all the way down to Milan, and you'll have at least 2 friendly stops. You can stop over here because we got some nice sites. You want to picnic here, fine, and then hopefully in Milan or Moorville, we'll have another launch site over there where you can actually launch. Now I will tell you that Rod, where are you, Rod? All right, there's our river steward. He is working with the people from the city of Milan, working northway. Now they're very energetic and robust, and they've been cleaning out the trail, removing deadfall, so that kayaks and canoes can go up. Rod?
Yeah, when you're done, I'd like to say something if I could about the river.
Go ahead.
Excuse me. Hi, I'm Rod Hill. I am a member of Milan Parks and Recreation Commission, former retired member of Milan City Council, and I've been involved with the Saline River Greenway Alliance with Frank Stukenborg, and actually it's Frank Stukenborg right here, right at the moment. But anyway, we've been involved for about 10 years with the program of stewardship of the Saline River. Saline River is a recreational waterway. If you get like maybe about 100 feet away from civilization anywhere in the Saline River, it will be very familiar to you as a wild waterway. It's a perfectly reasonable canoe. When we flow down into the Milan area, we're down in Lake Plain Prairie down there, which basically means that the current is very mild. It's very easy to manage upstream and downstream, and it's a great ride. It's a great wild ride, and like I say, when if you get 50 feet or more away from civilization, you won't know it from any of the other famous rivers up north of here. Now, the other thing to know, and Mark Twain said it best, that every time you go on the river is a little bit different. And boy, since I've been on it, actually working, pulling stuff around, I've come to realize that every time you go out on the river, it's a little bit different. Some things are the same, but there's always something new. And I just wanted to take a moment to encourage you all to think about the river as a resource, as recreation. You folks that come from the upstream side have a little bit more of a challenge. I'm actually looking for a show of hands here for people that are on the upstream side that would be interested in exploring the possibility of putting together another cadre, cell, team, crew that would help me. I'm working from Milan going upstream, and Milan going upstream is a totally different river than you're used to seeing. Our banks are 8 foot high. Our river depth is average 8 to 12 feet, and we've got plenty of river down with us. With you guys, well, anything just downstream from Curtis and actually north of Mill Pond Park, your river is a completely different river. You can practically walk across it in most places. You want waders, I think, but again, the river is completely different in a lot of different areas. I can say that I, as crew chief for cleaning, I'm looking at the upstream and saying, I need help. And anyone who is interested in learning about what we're talking about, learning about the methods and best practices that we employ, and actually, I can't think of his name, the fellow with the drone. We're trying to get a handle on exactly what the profile of the river looks like, so that we can start planning work parties, so we can start planning work efforts. It's 27 miles by river from Milan to Saline. It's what, 10 miles from Milan to Saline by road. 27 miles of very pretty river. And the goal is to basically make it a waterway, make it a link, and also make it a great place to be on any given day. So I'm very happy to see this day happen, and proud of the work that we're doing here. And I guess that's all I need to say.
Okay, I'd like to make two more announcements. Taylor Jacobson is back there next with the mayor, Brian Morrow, and Taylor's been a very hard and dressed his work. When we're not out here, he's out here by himself or with Dave. And so I'd like to recognize him as well. Now, it wouldn't be good for me not to recognize my good neighbors and friends, the Braun brothers, Calvin and Howard. If you know, all that property just across the street, that's theirs. And I asked them if we could park, and he says, as long as you don't park on my corn. So this morning, before I fogged the trails, I went out there and put up some little reminders, and I want to thank both of the brothers there, or what, like we call them, the boys, for their hospitality. And with that, I think we'll proceed to the ribbon cutting.